his loving wife, Adrian Moana, in white, up front, and also Richard's son, one of his sons, Michael, and his grandson, Anigan, from Kauai. Thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and introduce my daughter, Miley, and she will come up and say a nice poem that she wrote, something very special to Richard and to Adrian. Miley?
Hello everyone. As my mother said, my name is Mililani Services, and I am the niece of Adrian Moana. First, I would like to just say a little thing that pops in my mind about Uncle Richard. When growing up, sad to say, I found it entertaining catching Uncle Richard and Auntie Moana's famous bickering back and forth between each other. He would say one thing, and she would brush it off with like a, yeah, Richard, whatever. And I would crack up laughing, because I thought it was such a, her answer was such a generic comeback. And then sad to say, like, so is my Auntie Moana. But at the end of the day, through my eyes, I saw the love my Auntie Moana had for my Uncle Richard, which was unconditional love. With that, I would like to read this poem I entitled Through Her Niece's Eyes. When the light in your eyes began to slowly fade, I cannot tell a lie, I was afraid. She didn't want you to leave, telling you to hold on. I tried not to believe that you would be gone. But she lost her last hope as you slipped away, and her soul needed to cope with the loss of her light and day. My auntie's whole life was utterly gray, and her heart was dark. I didn't know what to say, she had no inner spark. But then she saw you in a vision in her head. She told you what to do, she told you not to dread. I will always be there, even if I'm dead, to listen and to care, that's what she said. Then she became awake, and I asked my mind, was it real or fake? The answer I couldn't find. Well, whichever it was, whether false or true, it didn't matter, because deep down inside, my auntie knew. She could not happily smile and not keep it inside, because all the while, she knows you'll be by her side. Her soul is at peace as she sits near the grave of her love, her forever partner and best friend, because even if you are gone, through her niece's eyes, it is not the end.
Oh, beautiful. Woo-hoo. Beautiful.
Thank you, Miley. That was so beautiful. By the way, Miley is my daughter. And I have another daughter that's going to be coming up here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, as my mom had said, my name is Anita Ana Malia Tuponio, and I am the eldest niece of Auntie Moana. Richard Bruce Bowen physically left this earth on May 3rd, 2014 in Honolulu, Hawaii at the age of 70 years old. Anyone he met, he always told them to just call him Richard. He was born on January 17, 1944 in East Liverpool, Ohio, but he was raised in West Virginia. He is survived by his faithful wife, Adrian Moana Bowen, his two daughters, Lisa Hamada and Shayla Mike, and David Hamada. He has 6 grandchildren and is loved by his sister Sheila Abel and his beloved in-laws, Gillespie Ohana. At the ripe age of 17, Richard joined the U.S. Navy and fulfilled his career in the military as a Navy SEAL. As life progressed for Richard, he found himself on the island of Kauai to be close to his children. He then moved to our island of Oahu to accept a position at H Power Company, where he assisted in the construction of incinerators. At that point, he then progressed into a mechanic of heavy equipment specializing in Caterpillar machinery. This mechanical skill benefited him in many ways, but the next stage of his life is presumed as God-given. The hillbilly cowboy meets his Hawaiian hula girl, Adrienne Moana Lessery. They met one night at Bucking Bill's Lounge, and as the night proceeded, Adrienne became so infatuated with Richard's southern charm that to her surprise, she believed this man Richard was the love of her life. They danced the night away, cheek to cheek, and became inseparable from then on. During their season of dating, Richard met Adrienne's beloved uncle, Uncle Polo, one night at one of their regular lounges they attended. That night, Richard boldly told Uncle Polo, "I'm going to marry your niece." These words were such a shock to Uncle Polo that he literally got choked up and almost spit out his drink. He looked Richard in the eyes and told him, "Don't tell me that. Go talk to her father." At this point in life, Richard and Adrienne decided to take the next step together and were married on September 27, 1993. They have been married for 20 years. Adrienne faithfully always had Richard's best interest at heart. For example, one year, Adrienne and Richard won $3,000 from their Super Bowl wager. Being the resourceful person that she is, Adrienne took the winnings and hid them through her many beautiful muumuu dresses that she owns. She only gave Richard $100 as an allowance to watch the games and hang out with his many friends. He was not happy at all with her brilliant financial plan, but Adrienne knew Richard too well and took it upon herself to start a savings. They were a team, and Adrienne always had his back. Richard was a jack of all trades and graciously offered his skills in many ways, whether it was doing mechanical work, going over to someone's house, fixing their car. In 2006, Richard's health regressed and he was faced with multiple medical obstacles. He had a few close calls, but he overcame them and gained the nickname 9 Lives Richard in the family. Although Richard's health was fading, his obedient wife Adrienne stayed by her husband's side through it all. The vows of marriage, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. These vows that Adrienne expressed to Richard are very sacred. Never did Adrienne part from his side, even in his last moments. They were together for 20 years, even to the moment that his physical body could take no more, and he departed painless at Charlotte Hospital. I believe in my heart that God loved Richard, and God loves all of us here. And if we seek him during this time of loss and grief, He will give us comfort. When we put our faith and life in God's control, death is not eternal, but just temporal. Uncle Richard will be missed and remembered always. Thank you.
Nice.
Right here feels so good. My AC. Yeah, we all going in our car. Yeah, they gotta make them real good.
You guys are going in the car?
No, not that car. Which car are we?